Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by the one, the only Riley Woodall. Of course, you know him from coverage of Indiana for working for a bunch of different things. How's it going, man?
Good, man. How about yourself?
Doing well. Rather me telling you what you do, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Right. So I'm a sophomore here at Indiana University, majoring in sports media, doing a lot of different media things. I covered the wrestling team last year with IUS TV Sports, and now I'm the football beat reporter this year for IUS TV Sports. So a lot of awesome things going on there. Want to know to start the year. Very exciting. I've also worked with BTNSU and WIUX, which are student-led broadcasts of games, a variety of different things, as well as I go home every now and again and call a few high school games on Friday night. So really just a lot of media stuff, running around a lot.
Yeah, I'm still trying to recover from last night. So
yeah.
Yeah. So talk about what how you got into all this stuff.
Right. It's a very interesting story because up until my senior year, I really was more so leaning towards I wanted to be an actor in like film and things like that. Sports really wasn't something that I was thinking about as a career up until that point. Because I was football wrestler in high school and I love sports. And then senior year, I took this broadcast class at a high school called Western Boone. And the program was just phenomenal. And it really kind of opened my eyes to a lot of things that I could do. And I just fell in love with like being on camera, as well as just learning how to use a camera, learning how to edit, learning how to, broadcast and talk about sports as well as news too, because they cover sports and news. And really after that, once I started visiting colleges and saw IU and saw the media schools program, I was like, this is awesome. Like, I love this. And they have a great program here. And after that, I kind of just fell in love with it and came down here, and now I'm here. now we're in the sports broadcast program.
All right. Well, let's put your expertise to the test. Let's talk about
Indiana. Oh boy. All right.
Kind of talk about this week's game and what we got to do.
Right. So last week was a big win for them compared to how they started 2021, because in 2021 they went to Iowa and it was not a great showing. And they also just had a really down season last year. Everybody knows, 2-10, not good after coming off of a very successful 2020 season. It was really a punch in the face and a letdown. But a big win last week against Illinois, against a really tough Big Ten team. Today, I consider this game more as just getting the job done, getting in and out, and winning the game. Last week, Indiana pounded them like 56-14, I think was the final score when they played Idaho last week. But I'm looking for maybe a little bit more production on the offensive side of the ball. The defense played phenomenally well last week. The offense struggled in some spots. And really, I guess for the offense is getting the run game going, because they did not have very good success there. Connor Bazelak debuted for them, and he had 330 passing yards and a bunch of touchdowns. He was killing it. But the run game was not really there for Indiana. So I'm looking for development in the run game really for the Hoosiers coming into the night.
For sure. Of course, I probably should mention they're playing Idaho.
Yes, correct.
I forgot to mention that. So what do we expect from them? Because looking at their schedule right now, they got 3 non-conference opponents before they head to the home of Big Red. Of course, I'm talking about Nebraska. Beginning of October. What's that going to be like? What do you want to see out of this team the next 3 weeks, I should ask?
Right. Obviously tonight, I'm really expecting a win. I think that's good. And I really have them starting out 3-0, winning their first 3 games. That'll build some momentum for them. Cincinnati's a little bit of a toss-up for me, just because, it was a great game last year against them when they came to Memorial Stadium, but they ended up losing that game. And playing really any college program on the road is tough as it is. So from my perspective, I realistically could see them rolling into Nebraska 3-1. They lose to Cincinnati on the road, but maybe in a close game, maybe in a game that is won by a touchdown or a field goal. So they have some momentum, and then they lose a close one, so they have a little bit of fire under them coming into Nebraska. Schedule is a little bit less tough than it was last year, I think. Realistically, I could see them finishing the season. I don't know. I'm a very optimistic person, so I say 9-3. That's just me. But realistically, people could have them sitting at a 5-7, a 6-6. But rolling into Nebraska to get back into conference play, I would say I have them 3-1, and I think they could honestly beat Nebraska on the road. It'd be tough, but the Hoosiers could definitely do that.
For sure. So where do you want to, let's talk about you. How are you enjoying all this stuff, meeting people and getting to meet all these different people that you may have, read over the years. Now you get to sit beside them.
Right. It's a dream come true. It's a dream come true. And there's so many things that I've already been able to do and so many amazing people that I've already been able to meet. That's one of the things that I also saw with the media school program when coming to IU last year as a freshman. There's just so many different opportunities and things that students are able to do here that at other schools it would be less so. And I've made so many friends with student broadcasters that all the way from seniors to my grade, even to some new freshmen coming in. There's a great freshman class coming in of broadcasters that are very talented. Worked with Galen Clavia, who's the sports media guy down here in Bloomington. He's phenomenal. And everybody's just been super supportive and welcoming, and really have been thankful for all the opportunities that they've given me to really fine tune my craft. It's been awesome, and I'm excited to see where it goes from sophomore year all the way up to senior year.
So what kind of sports, what are you looking forward to this season? Just as
sports in general?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm a Packers guy in terms of NFL. The NFL season, that's like one of my favorite times of the year. I love it. Really looking forward to that season. IU basketball is coming up. I mean, I know we just started football season, but IU basketball is coming a little bit later. Yeah, so there's a lot of hype with that team coming into this season. And a basketball game in Assembly Hall is something else in and of itself. So I'm really excited about that. I'm really trying to get into baseball. I know baseball is kind of amping down. They're getting ready to go into like playoffs and things like that. If not, they're already in it. I'm really trying to get back into baseball a little bit. I'm kind of late to the party on that, but really trying to do that. I'm not much of a soccer guy. But yeah, my roommate Oscar, he's big in NASCAR and racing and all the things like that. I kind of dabble in it just a little bit.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I'm an expert by any means.
Well, leave that to me. I got a whole group full of those people.
I'll go to you for all that stuff, man. Yeah. But really football.
Okay.
Football, professional football. Football is my number one sport, and I love it. But I also look forward to Big Ten wrestling too. That kind of goes back to when basketball comes around too. But there's so much going on and so much starting. This is my favorite time of the year in terms of sports. So a lot of great stuff. Yeah,
it's it is pretty good. So yeah, I mean, going in. Do you have an event that you like are looking forward to, or something? Like if you could pick one? I think I just asked this, but whatever.
Like what?
Like one event that you want to like try or something.
That's interesting. Quite a few, but I guess we'll go back to IU football. When they play Michigan here in the next few weeks or so, when Michigan comes to town, it's homecoming. that's homecoming weekend. So the campus is going to be buzzing with people, and I'm going to be there at the game, obviously covering it. But I think the stadium's going to be packed, and I think at that point in time, you will see a Hoosier team that has a lot of wins under their belt and has some momentum, and if not beat Michigan, challenge them a little bit, I would think, because Michigan and Ohio State are top two in terms of Big Ten, in my opinion.
Michigan State up there too. Remember that?
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But I would go Michigan coming to the Rock in the next few weeks or so for homecoming weekend. That event's insane, and there's always a lot of people there, and an IU campus that's full and buzzing with people all around. There's so many like events, and it's a very colorful week that I remember last year. And I think it's going to be even better this year just because we're a little bit more further away from the pandemic and the effects that it still had, because it was lingering last year and it's a little bit further away now.
Yeah.
So I think the homecoming week versus Michigan is going to be something that I'm really looking forward to.
Well, I know you got a lot to get to, so with a big game tonight. But Riley, thanks for spending a few minutes with us, and we'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.